Welcome to the debate. So, what if I told you the blue link, the actual foundation of the trillion-dollar digital economy for the last 25 years, is officially dead?
I'd say you're finally catching on.
Right. Because the new battleground for enterprise growth, it isn't about getting a customer to visit your beautifully designed website anymore. It's about stopping an AI bot from stealing your product off the digital shelf before the customer even knows your brand exists.
Yeah, it is basically the ultimate executive nightmare playing out in real time. We are looking at a fundamental rewiring of consumer behavior here. The entire architecture of the internet is shifting from this economy of attention, where brands fought for clicks, to an economy of delegation.
An economy of delegation.
Exactly. Consumers just tell a machine what they want, and the machine goes out and buys it for them.
Which forces digital marketing executives into a pretty brutal long-term strategic crossroad. We saw this solidified at Google Marketing Live 2026. Google is completely integrating its Gemini model into its advertising and commerce stack, shifting the search pattern toward agentic AI and native checkout.
Right, they want everything.
They want everything. If you are a brand, Google wants your entire product catalog housed seamlessly within their universal commerce ecosystem. And I'm taking the position that embracing this AI-driven infrastructure is the inevitable and frankly superior path for long-term global brand growth. Prioritizing frictionless conversion over legacy traffic models is simply how you win the next decade.
And I completely disagree with that approach. I mean, it trades long-term brand equity for short-term transactional sugar highs. Long-term survival relies entirely on data sovereignty and publisher control.
You really think you can fight it, though?
I know you can. Look at the UK Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA. They just handed publishers a massive regulatory shield. Marketers have to use these new regulations along with an entirely new generation of MarTech tools to aggressively protect the click. If you don't demand clear attribution, you just become a commoditized, white-labeled supplier for Google's walled garden.
Okay, but let's start with the reality of the technology. Gemini is no longer just a feature you toggle on for a better search summary. It is the operating system for the future of commerce.
A walled garden operating system?
Sure, but we are dealing with agentic AI now, and we should define that for a second because it's crucial. Agentic doesn't mean the AI is just answering a user's question with text.
Right, it acts as an autonomous agent.
Exactly. It looks at your preferences, finds the product, negotiates the bundle, and natively processes the transaction using something like Klarna or Affirm. And it does all of that without the user ever leaving the Google interface.
Which is exactly the dystopian scenario for a chief marketing officer. You're losing the entire customer journey.
Dystopian? I mean, come on, it's exactly what the consumer wants, frictionless conversion. Enterprise brands have to optimize for the tools serving this reality. Conversational discovery ads, the Ask Advisor systems, the Universal Commerce Protocol.
You're just giving away the store.
You have to feed the AI to be recommended by the AI. If a brand restricts its data because it wants to hoard organic website traffic, it is going to miss out on dynamic AI-generated bundles. The battle right now is to win the algorithmic recommendation.
You call it hoarding traffic. I call it protecting the very asset that makes a brand valuable in the first place.
Okay. Defend that. How is hiding your data valuable?
Well, let's look at the actual mechanism of what the UK CMA ruling just did, because it changes the entire balance of power. Up until this ruling, publishers faced a coercive choice from Google. Either you let us ingest your proprietary content and deep product specs to train our AI models, or you opt out and commit digital suicide by vanishing from traditional search results.
Right. The classic take it or leave it proposition.
Exactly. But the CMA finally decoupled those two mechanisms. For the first time, a brand can use a technical directive to block Google from using its content in AI summaries, but still maintain its ranking in traditional search indexes.
It's a regional Band-Aid, though.
It's a massive paradigm shift. You don't have to surrender your core intellectual property to maintain visibility anymore. High-value content costs millions to produce. It needs to drive actual qualified traffic to owned properties. That is where a brand controls the user experience and builds actual loyalty.
Okay, let's play this out in the boardroom. You're the CMO presenting this to the CEO and the CFO. You say, we are going to use these new CMA protections to block Gemini's crawlers. We're going to protect our proprietary click
Sounds like a solid plan.
until the CFO looks at the revenue projections and sees an immediate 15% drop in top-line sales. Why? Because you just opted out of Google's direct offers pilot.
Well, that assumes the direct offers pilot is the only way to drive revenue, which just isn't true.
It is. It's becoming the primary way. Look mechanically at how the Universal Commerce Protocol functions. If a user says, find me the best running shoes for flat feet under $150 and buy them, Gemini is dynamically building a contextual bundle based on that user's historical browsing behavior.
Within its own ecosystem.
Right, it curates the offer, applies a localized promotion, and completes the transaction instantly. Zero friction. Using regulatory shields to block AI crawlers right now is like building a moat when airplanes have just been invented. You're protecting yourself from the wrong threat.
Your airplane metaphor is fun, but it completely ignores the catastrophic loss of the customer lifecycle.
You're still getting the sale. The AI drops your product in the universal cart.
But if the discovery, the curation, the bundling, and the checkout all happen entirely within Google's ecosystem, who owns the customer?
Google owns the environment, sure, but you get the transaction.
You get an anonymous one-off transaction. You do not get the robust first-party data. You do not get the email address to put them into a nurture sequence. You don't get cross-sell opportunities for, like, the running socks and specialized insoles.
I mean, you can still...
And you certainly don't get the brand affinity that comes from your carefully curated digital storefront. You are transforming your premium brand into a generic fulfillment center for Google's AI vending machine.
Hold on, I have to push back hard on that because incrementality and measurement are exactly what Google is building into this new ecosystem. You're talking as if Google is flying blind here. They aren't.
They're a black box.
They just integrated Meridian, their open source marketing mix model, directly into Analytics 360.
Yeah, but Meridian operates on aggregated data. It's not the deterministic user-level data you get on your own site.
It operates on predictive models powered by Gemini. They are rolling out qualified future conversions. That's a metric explicitly designed to help advertisers connect current ad activity inside these conversational AI modes with future revenue signals.
Which is essentially probabilistic guessing.
It's evolving from deterministic tracking to probabilistic modeling, yes. And honestly, if you want visibility, you have to participate. Merchant Center's new AI performance insights are explicitly built to help retailers optimize for Gemini's contextual understanding. If you opt out of AI scraping to, protect the click, you inherently render yourself invisible to the agentic AI.
See, that is a total false dichotomy. Big tech loves pushing this narrative that participation requires total data surrender. You either hand over the keys to the kingdom or you are invisible.
Practically speaking, yes.
No, practically speaking, look at the MarTech explosion over the last 6 months. Brands can absolutely navigate AI visibility without yielding control of their primary data assets.
Wait, slow down. I genuinely want to understand your logic here. Mechanically, how is that possible? If the AI cannot ingest your proprietary product data because you've blocked the scraper, how on earth can it recommend your product?
Because you start monitoring the output instead of surrendering the input. Look at the new measurement platforms launched by companies like Brand Access or Market Logic Network. They aren't relying on Google's black box analytics.
What are they doing instead?
They're deploying thousands of automated mystery shoppers into the AI interfaces.
Mystery shoppers? You mean like automated prompting?
Exactly. They ping Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude from thousands of IP addresses, asking complex category-specific buying questions. Then they reverse engineer the AI's responses to map exactly how often a specific brand appears in the generated text.
Okay, that's clever.
Right? They're tracking the brand's digital footprint and share of voice in real time. QueryScope from Pando Public Relations does the same thing to find semantic gaps. Marketers are using these tools to understand the exact semantic data the AI needs and then strategically seeding it onto the open web.
While hiding their core IP.
Yes. They keep their core intellectual property, customer data, and transactional environments securely locked behind their own firewalls. You dictate the terms of engagement.
Okay, the mystery shopper mechanism is clever. I'll admit that. Firing at the exhaust pipe of the AI engine, trying to guess how to influence the internal combustion.
It's better than jumping into the engine yourself.
Let's think about the sheer global scale of what Google is deploying, though. We aren't just talking about text summaries anymore. Have you looked at Asset Studio recently?
I'm well aware of the scale of Asset Studio, yes.
It features multimodal Gemini-powered creative generation. Advertisers can use natural language to generate massive-scale video assets and run real-time one-click creative testing. Demand gen campaigns are automatically distributing dynamic product videos across YouTube Shorts and Google Maps simultaneously.
But you can still...
If you're sitting on the outside, trying to reverse engineer your share of voice using PR tools and semantic seeding, you are moving infinitely too slowly. By the time your marketing team gets the weekly visibility report from Brand Axis, your competitor has already dynamically generated a video asset, offered a targeted discount via UCP, and won the transaction.
You're assuming the transaction is the only metric that matters. But let's look at the foundation your global tech scale is being built upon. You are completely dismissing a massive regulatory wave.
The UK CMA ruling is a regional development.
The controls to stop this kind of data extraction are actively being built into enterprise edge networks right now.
But Google's deployment of Agentic AI is global. How does a Fortune 500 chief marketing officer build a sustainable global growth strategy based on a regional regulatory friction point? You can't bifurcate your entire global marketing apparatus just because the UK introduced a scraping toggle.
It's not a regional glitch. The UK is the bellwether. The fact that Google was forced to test these controls with UK publishers proves that the technical infrastructure for publisher sovereignty exists. It's hard-coded into the system now.
But you can't manually block Google globally without breaking your SEO pipeline.
You don't do it manually. You do it at the edge network level. WP Engine just rolled out advanced bot management tools integrated directly into their global edge security systems. A global brand can now use a single dashboard to categorize and systematically block or permit specific AI data harvesters across every region simultaneously.
Mechanically, how is it doing that without blocking legitimate human traffic?
Because edge networks sit between the user and the server. Fingerprint just launched an automation intelligence interface that differentiates human interaction from automated AI crawlers in milliseconds. It intercepts the AI agent trying to scrape the proprietary pricing matrix, drops it into a dead end, but lets the traditional Google search indexer pass through. The infrastructure to protect assets globally is live right now.
All right, let's assume the technology works flawlessly. You implement WP Engine globally. You successfully block Gemini from reading your deep product catalogs. You force the AI to display a prominent attribution link mandated by the CMA.
Which forces traffic to owned properties.
Right. The customer clicks the link and lands on your beautifully curated flagship website. My question is, have you actually won? Or have you just introduced massive friction into a buying journey that the modern consumer expects to be instantaneous?
You have won the customer's lifetime value. You can now cookie that user, understand their behavior, retarget them, and build a relationship.
But have you lost the initial sale? We know from a decade of conversion rate optimization that friction is the enemy of revenue. Every additional page load, every form field drops conversion rate significantly.
Sure, for some products.
If I ask my phone, buy me the best noise-canceling headphones for a transatlantic flight, and the AI can use Universal Cart to instantly purchase a competitor's headphones via Affirm, I'm happy. I don't want to click an attribution link, navigate your site, read your proprietary research, create an account, and type in my credit card number.
You're oversimplifying the buyer journey.
I just want the headphones. By fiercely protecting the click, you are protecting a legacy metric at the direct expense of top-line revenue. You are making it harder for people to give you their money.
That argument assumes the AI always makes the optimal choice for the consumer, and that the consumer implicitly trusts the machine to make a purchase without verification.
Increasingly, they do. That's the definition of a delegation economy.
In low-consideration, highly commoditized categories, like a $15 phone charger, you might be right. The frictionless AI vending machine wins. But think about the digital marketing executives at brands with high-consideration products, enterprise B2B software, luxury retail.
Okay, that's fair.
Those buyers want the friction of verification. They actively want to read the proprietary research. If you allow the AI to ingest your highly differentiated product and flatten it into a generic conversational two-sentence summary, you strip away the exact context that justifies your premium pricing.
Protecting the click is about preserving the environment where your brand's unique value proposition actually survives.
I think this is where the C-suite dilemma comes sharply into focus. We are looking at two fundamentally different philosophies for the next decade of digital growth. If we look at the reality of the landscape, the search pattern has irreversibly changed. We've moved from a query and link model to an agentic conversational model.
Absolutely.
And for long-term scale, marketing executives must fundamentally restructure their strategies around universal commerce. Attempting to build edge network walls around your data might placate the CMO's fear of losing control in the short term, but it actively isolates your brand from the very engine that will drive future global commerce. In an economy of delegation, you have to feed the AI to be chosen by the AI.
And the opposing philosophy is that long-term brand equity simply cannot exist without data sovereignty. The UK CMA ruling and this massive wave of edge security MarTech prove that brands are not helpless. You do not have to accept the binary choice of total data surrender or total invisibility.
Right. Marketers can absolutely maintain their search footprint while fiercely protecting their proprietary content. If you surrender your entire customer lifecycle to Google's universal cart,